Aloha, I'm Kaui Lucas. This is Hawaii is My Mainland on ThinkTech Hawaii, where we talk about things of relevance to our community, how to keep it local, but keeping an eye on the global scene. Last week, I had Senator Willis Sparrow here. I saw Senator talking at a ThinkTech Hawaii panel at Richardson Law School a couple of weeks ago. The panel discussion was on medical marijuana and the new dispensary law. Also on that panel was a CTAR staff member, College of Tropical Ag and Human Resources, Jerry Sugano. And she told a heart-wrenching story, so heart-wrenching that I can't have her on my show because I would cry the whole time. But she showed what it's like to be in the trenches with a critically ill child. She has a daughter with epilepsy. And I wrote her an email following the show and said, wow, Jerry, you're an awesome mom and you know what's great for your kid and keep doing it because you know as a mom instinctively what really works for your child. And she wrote me back and she said, well, how about you have somebody from the Epilepsy Foundation of Hawaii on your show? So of course I said yes. And what a bonus, I get to meet Kathleen Stofocik, who is the new-ish executive director of the Epilepsy Foundation of Hawaii.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for inviting me on this show. I really appreciate it.
So November is Epilepsy Awareness Month.
Yes.
So what is epilepsy?
That's a great question to start it off with. Epilepsy is the fourth most common neurological condition after migraines, stroke, and Alzheimer's disease. So it's quite common. And epilepsy is actually more prevalent than autism spectrum disorders, Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, and cerebral palsy combined.
Wow.
And this means that 1 in 26 individuals in the United States will have epilepsy at some point in their lifetime. And a lot of people aren't aware of that, and they really don't know that. So we here at the Epilepsy Foundation of Hawaii want to promote epilepsy awareness, want to provide support and education and outreach, and really help to bring awareness to what epilepsy is. So what is epilepsy, right? So epilepsy is when a person has 2 or more unprovoked seizures. And a seizure is when a seizure is caused by a disturbance of chemical and electrical activity in the brain. And so when a person has that, it can create many different things, and we kind of know what a seizure may look like. They may convulse, sometimes they may twitch, and they can look like a variety of different things. But once they have 2 or more unprovoked seizures, then the diagnosis is epilepsy.
So there's no test you can take or blood test or anything like that?
Not that I know or am aware of.
Okay.
For most people, in order to get a diagnosis of epilepsy, they don't necessarily know that they are having a seizure. It's those that are around them that notice that they're having either they're having a seizure or going in and out of consciousness. And so then the best thing to do is to take a video of that person of when they're having a seizure and then go to the doctor or neurologist to really confirm a diagnosis of epilepsy.
So one would go to a neurologist?
Yes.
Okay. So you said 2 or more episodes. So could those be separated by years or by a day, or what's the time frame?
So really what it is 2 or more unprovoked seizures. So you're not having traumatic brain injury or concussions or anything to the head that would possibly cause a seizure to occur. And as for the time period, I wouldn't necessarily be aware of what the time period is, but it's 2 or more unprovoked seizures. And even if they have 1 seizure, that would be traumatic enough to definitely go to the doctor and get some scans done. Yeah.
Okay, so Epilepsy Awareness Month. What have you been doing?
Yeah, so November is National Epilepsy Awareness Month, and during the month of November, the Epilepsy Foundation of Hawaii wants to promote awareness across the state about epilepsy and bring awareness to it. So in order to kick off the month, we actually had sign waving at the Capitol. It was the first time we've done this. Our board president, Lacey Shimabukuro, organized it, and we went out and we had a wonderful group of people that went out on the sign waving. And during rush hour in Honolulu, it's great because a lot of people are stopped and they could read all our signs and learn all about epilepsy on their way home. And it was a really wonderful opportunity for individuals living with epilepsy as well as their caretakers to kind of come together and show support and solidarity against the condition.
I saw some cute pictures you sent me, and
Yes.
When she has a moment, maybe Zuri will pop up one of those as we're talking about the other event. So you had sign waving
At the Capitol.
and with the cute signs, and I remember one sign said 15,000 people in Hawaii have epilepsy.
Yes, so current statistics that we have right now, it says that 15,000 people in the state of Hawaii are currently living with epilepsy. And here at the foundation, we're here to bring support and advocate for those 15,000 individuals.
So we talked about that if you have 2 or more seizures, then you get the diagnosis. Does one get over it?
So there is no cure as of right now for epilepsy. However, there are many treatments. Oh, and I see the pictures are up.
Zuri rocks. She's
That's
the best.
awesome. Those are great pictures, and we were so happy. This is the first time we did it, and we hope to make this an annual thing every year to kick off Epilepsy Awareness Month.
So you were saying about there's no known cure, but people manage.
Yep.
So once you have it, you just kind of have it.
Yeah, so when it comes to epilepsy, there is no known cure. Many people can manage it through treatments, usually taking medications, or they might have to take or have surgeries. But there is no way to know that they will never have a seizure again. They may go for long periods of seizure-free, but it is still possible that a seizure could occur again. So we don't, as of right now, we don't know what causes seizures. We think that there may be a genetic or hereditary link, but still individuals who never have seen a seizure in their family still can still have children that have seizures. So there isn't really a pure understanding of how it occurs and how to cure it. So we just have ways we know it occurs and we can treat it, and we're here to support you once you have the diagnosis.
So besides the sign waving, you did some other fun things for Epilepsy Awareness Month. What did you do?
Great. So last week, actually, we had our 3rd annual Living Well with Epilepsy Conference. And the Living Well with Epilepsy Conference was held at the Queens Medical Center. And through our sponsors, we had sponsors of Lundbeck, NeuroPace, Upshur Smith, UCB, and Cyberonics, as well as the National Association of Social Workers for Hawaii. Wow. They sponsored it, so we were able to hold a free all-day conference for individuals living with epilepsy, as well as their caretakers. And it was a great opportunity, and I sent you some pictures of the conference as well. It was a great opportunity for people to come together and learn about epilepsy, learn about treatments. And this is actually a picture of a presentation we did at a school in Hilo, educational session. It was really wonderful, and people really enjoyed it, and it's just a great opportunity to know that you're not alone, right? Many people think, oh my gosh, I have epilepsy, or my child has epilepsy, and they start to feel all alone, and that they're battling this condition on their own. But the conference was a great way to kind of meet others that are going through and sharing similar experiences.
I imagine it was really great, especially for kids. There seem to be a fair number of children that have epilepsy. Is there any kind of does it happen more, does it present more for children than adults, or how is that?
So what we see, or what we know about epilepsy, we see it mostly, it affects the very young and then the very old. So usually if a person will get a diagnosis of epilepsy, it might happen when they're a child, and then, or it might happen when they're a senior citizen, over 65 is when we tend to see the most diagnosis. And so if a person is living with or gets diagnosed as a child, then it's possible that it will happen, or they will have it for the rest of their lives, even if they're able to manage it through treatments and medications. So yeah, it affects the very young. So we see a lot of parents calling us and wanting more information, and we try and provide support for these caretakers because, as you know, or as you saw in the panel, some forms of seizures can be very debilitating, some can be mild, but they're all stressful on the family.
So seizures, how long do they last typically?
That's a great question. So when it comes to a seizure, the seizures are broken down into two main categories. So you have generalized complex seizures, and then you have partial seizures. And when we think of the generalized complex seizures, the general complex is usually seizures that occur and the activity is in the entire brain. And so...
Wait. Seizures that occur and the activity is in the entire brain?
Yes.
Okay.
So the seizure is happening in the entire brain. So
okay.
The entire brain's affected. And that's kind of what we think of those convulsive type seizures, so the whole body becomes affected. Then the partial seizures are when seizures are occurring in only one part of the brain. And when it's only occurring in one part, it may be twitching. They may just kind of have blank stares. They may just walk in a different way, or they might just completely stop talking to you, and they'll come out of the seizure and not really know what had occurred. Or maybe they kind of know what occurred, but they don't remember. And so those are the two types of the two main categories.
Wow, that's
of seizures.
really interesting. So I've just, general layperson's knowledge of this. So it's not always that convulsive thing. It can be, somebody could be just standing there talking to you.
And then they all of a sudden have a blank stare, and they're twitching, or all of a sudden doing something. And that's usually because the part of the brain that is being affected is causing them to do that part, or use that part of the body.
And then they may or may not remember the incident after it occurred.
Yeah, so that's when Seizure First Aid comes in and trying to assist that person when they come out of their seizure and they have finished the seizure. How do you kind of get right back into it? Some individuals want to go to sleep right after. The seizure is very exhausting for them. Some individuals want to kind of just pick up right where they left off, as if nothing had occurred. And so as individuals that are around people with seizures, it's really important to kind of play off of their cues. If they want to just pick up, don't dwell on it, and just kind of resume your activities with that individual. Or if they want to rest or take a sleep, help them just make sure that they're in a safe environment in case they have another seizure again. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if the cue is sort of, it sounds like there's not a strict protocol. I mean, this whole, I'm beginning to get the idea of why a resource like the Epilepsy Foundation would be really critical. There seems to be a wide range of symptoms and responses that one could use. So that's a lot of outreach and education.
There is, and we provide a lot of education and outreach, and we, I can even tell you a little bit more about Seizure First Aid and what to do if someone has a seizure.
Let's do that right after our break. We'll take a break for about a minute, and then we'll be back with Kathleen Stofocik of the Epilepsy Foundation of Hawaii.
Hi, I'm Jay Fidel. That's Ted Ralston. Ted is the host of Where the Road Leads. It shows every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. It's about technology. It's about how people collaborating and solve problems with modern technology. It's where the road leads. We all know that. We should all be listening. Join us there, 4 to 5 p.m. every Friday. Now, what about that do you agree with?
All of it.
I knew he'd say that. Aloha. Say aloha.
Aloha.
Good.
Aloha. My name is Josh Green. I'm a senator from the Big Island and the ER physician. Every other Tuesday, I get to host a show here on the ThinkTech program about healthcare. We call it Healthcare in Hawaii. It's really enjoyable for me to bring other healthcare leaders from around the state to talk about our pressing issues. Hawaii has long been the health state, but we need to keep up the momentum, the inertia, and with your help and with your participation, we can come and share all of the big issues that are pressing day to day. Thanks for joining us every Tuesday, alternating weeks, from 2 to 2:45.
Welcome back to Hawaii is My Mainland. I'm Kaui Lucas, and today I have with me the charming executive director of the Epilepsy Foundation of Hawaii. November is Epilepsy Awareness Month, and she's going to tell us what to do, the first aid response if you're with someone and they have a seizure. What should one do?
That's great. And so when it comes to a seizure and someone's having it, the first thing to do is to remain calm and comfort that person. Don't freak out, that can just create more chaos. So you just want to remain calm and help them, especially if they're having a seizure where they're convulsing. You want to make sure that you get them to the ground safely so they don't hurt or harm themselves. With any type of seizure, you want to make sure that there is nothing around them that can cause injury or harm to them, especially if they come out of it and they're shocked or unsure of what to do. So just making sure that they're in a safe place. I really want to encourage people and remind people that you should never put something in someone's mouth when they're having a seizure. There was a long time ago a myth.
Oh, I remember. You're supposed to put a pencil or I wouldn't even finish it. Okay,
yeah,
so no,
erase,
undo.
yeah,
okay, bad information. What should we do?
Excellent. Yeah, so when it comes to it, we never want to put anything into someone's mouth because they used to think, oh my God, they can swallow their tongue. That's absolutely 100% false. There is no physical possible way an individual can swallow their own tongue. So you never want to put anything in the person's mouth. You just want to create a safe space for them. And you then want to time the seizure. If the seizure lasts anywhere longer than 5 minutes, then you want to call 911. Most seizures will happen for a couple of seconds to a couple of minutes. But if it does go over 5 minutes, you definitely want to call first response. And so that's basically it. And when the person comes out of their seizure, when they come to, like I said before, you want to just take that opportunity to kind of play off of their cues. Do they want to just jump back into what they were doing, or do they want to rest, or what do they need?
So you said take the person to the ground, but for instance, if they were sitting in a chair, or if they were at a desk and sitting in a chair, would you in that case take them to the ground or take them out of the chair?
Well, yes, if they're having a convulsive type of seizure, they might fall to the ground, or they might be starting to head that way. And the reason you want to do that is just because their body usually goes stiff. So if they're sitting, their body's going to go stiff and they might end up falling. So you do want to do that. Let's say the person's having a seizure, let's say in the water at the beach or something like that. That's a point where you definitely want to call first response immediately because of the chances of them having a seizure, drowning and things like that. You definitely want to call first response. If they're eating something, you want to make sure that they're possibly not choking, so you might want to get them on their side so that they don't choke on anything. So, and if they're eating and they're having a seizure, call first response right away because you don't want to harm them by trying to do anything else. Just make sure they're in a calm and safe and comfortable environment.
Okay, so is there a danger that they will choke if they're eating?
They're not necessarily, but if there's something in the mouth that can cause, especially, it can cause harm possibly. So you just want to make sure and try and take any of those precautions out of the possibilities.
Okay, so in that case, you don't wait the 5 minutes, you just go ahead
And call, yes.
and go ahead and call. Okay. All right,
Yeah.
well, good to know.
Yeah,
Gosh,
but the
I
most
mean,
important thing, don't put anything in their mouth.
nothing in the mouth, keeping the airways clean
Exactly.
and clear. Okay, so as we were talking about Jerry Sugano and her daughter, and she had to go to the emergency one night, and she was talking about how difficult it was for her to get for her daughter the medicine that she needed, which Jerry and Jerry's family has been experimenting with for some time, and they understand what works for their daughter, which in this case happens to be the cannabis. And I was wondering, how does the Epilepsy Foundation of Hawaii approach the subject? And what can people learn from Epilepsy Foundation?
Right. So when it comes to epilepsy, when it comes to seizures, we don't know why it occurs. But we do know is once they have it, we can provide treatment. So the treatments that are available, there's a lot of medications that are available, and there's even surgeries available. Now, 70% of people who end up being diagnosed with epilepsy can receive treatment and can get a handle on their seizures and seizure activity. However, there's 30% that even with treatment and even possibly with surgeries, that they don't get a handle on it. The seizures are very frequent and can be very debilitating. So there is with the new opportunities with medical marijuana, the medical marijuana has been shown for some people to be effective. At the Epilepsy Foundation of Hawaii, we're here to provide all options. And of course, when it comes to the health of the individual or as the caretaker, the health of your child, you want your child or you want the individual to go seizure free is the goal that we're looking for.
Right.
So I would encourage them to talk with their doctors. And some doctors may not feel comfortable going the medical marijuana route. However, at the Epilepsy Foundation, we see it as just another option to explore. But we still kind of refer them to their medical provider, their neurologist, and their doctors to see if it is the best route for them.
And why might doctors have reservations in the case of that 30% where nothing's working, but they might be not willing to talk too much about the medical marijuana? Do you happen to know about that?
I don't want to speak for the doctors because I'm not exactly sure, but from my understanding is that it may be a variety of factors. One of the factors being that it's not as easily able to prescribe, right, or how much a dose that they're getting could be a very variance, and therefore the doctor wouldn't really know what's working in the treatment plan. But last year, and you had Senator Aspero on last year with last legislative session.
Yes.
The medical marijuana dispensaries was the main thing because we had medical marijuana available, but nowhere to get it legally, or you had to grow it yourself. And so, the Epilepsy Foundation, we're advocating for the dispensaries, a legal place to get it for those individuals that definitely are out of that 70% or part of that 30% that just can't seem to find the right treatment to help them get a handle on their seizures.
So, okay, good to know that you guys are part of that support. Senator Aspero was talking about how critical it was to get the community to come out, to get people to talk about it and say that they are supportive. I can certainly understand how doctors would be loath to prescribe something that you can't really write down how many milligrams or anything. Yeah, that would be difficult.
But as an individual living with it, or as a caretaker seeing their child have multiple seizures a day, I'm sure that they want to explore all options. And the Epilepsy Foundation, we're here just to provide all the different information so that they can make the best choice for themselves.
So besides information, you have other programs.
Yes, we do. So we have a variety of programs that we offer, not just for the month of November. We do things year-round. One of the things that's coming up is our Sharon's Ride Run Walk. On January 31st. We promote exercise, right, and a way for families to come together and not only exercise, but exercise for a cause, for epilepsy. So the run is a 5K or 10K. The ride is a 35K, a 50K, or 100K bike ride, or you can do a 1 mile walk. And we also have Keiki bike ride where they learn all about helmet safety and bike safety and things like that, because if they fall off their bike, get a concussion, not good for the head trauma.
So that's fun. And where is that taking place?
Oh, yep. So this happens at the starts off at the Kapiolani Community College, and it goes up and around Diamond Head. The bike ride goes all the way out to Kailua and back, but the runs go through Diamond Head area, and so it's a really, really fun event, and I'm so glad that I had the pictures from last year's event It's a really great opportunity for people to come together, and it's a way for the Epilepsy Foundation of Hawaii. That's just one event, and that's
Okay.
one that's coming up. One of the things that we just did in September and August was our Studio E art therapy program. This was the first time that we've actually done an art therapy program for individuals living with epilepsy. It was their way to express themselves and the challenges that they have living with this condition, and also meet other individuals living with epilepsy. And we had a wonderful art therapist who came out and conducted the sessions, and it was a really, really great opportunity.
Can I ask, the art therapist, was that you said came out as if?
Oh, came out to the Epilepsy Foundation of Hawaii's offices.
Okay.
And so it was held in our offices, so it was a neutral location for everybody. And so she came and facilitated the art therapy. And I sent you some photos. I'm not sure if you have them, but
No,
of the,
sorry.
That's okay, of some of the art that the individuals did, and they were very proud of them, and so we're proud of it. And so
Oh, wait,
hopefully-
we do have one.
Oh,
Good.
wonderful.
Yay, she found it.
Yeah, so
I loved that one.
yes, and so it was a really wonderful opportunity for them to express themselves through art.
I have to ask, was it a local art therapist?
Yes, yes.
Very good.
Yes, it was.
Do you have the name?
Pamela Matsuda Fryer. She
Okay.
was our art therapist, and she did an excellent job. And she had a wonderful doggie named Truman, who is a therapy dog, and he would come out. And I actually didn't do much work just because I wanted to play with the doggie, but he went in during the art therapy sessions and was there with the individuals. So it was wonderful, and I'm hoping that I can secure funding to do the art therapy again in 2016.
So you mentioned it was a couple of months, so was it like an ongoing class once a week or something like that?
Yeah, so you could come at any point, but for the whole art therapy to really take shape, it was great if you came every week in order to build the trust with the therapist and to really kind of explore further issues that you may have been having. But we accepted anybody if they wanted to come, just even for one class. I know it's really hard for most people with their scheduling to come all the time, but it was really great.
So the course ran over several
8 weeks, yeah.
And was that for kids and adults?
So it was for, we had it for, I think 14 and up, but yes, we wanted to try and expand it, so it's just, that was what the grant was written for, was for individuals to explore it, but hopefully in the future we can expand it to multiple age groups.
I had earlier as a guest Miliana Meyer, who talked about art therapy as a way of, or making art, not art therapy, but making art as a way to heal trauma. And it does seem to be a really a great way to help people in many ways at once, more holistic, to be with other people who share this disease, or and working through it physically, and then thinking about it. I can imagine that it was a really good thing. I hope you get that grant again.
Me too. I really do. And it being the first time, it was hard to get people to come. But I think now that we've shown some of the great art that had occurred and had happened, hopefully in the future we'll get a bigger turnout, which will be wonderful.
Anytime you can do something to increase the happy juice without drugs, it's such a good thing. So wow,
Absolutely.
Really good.
So that's one of the programs that we have. Another program that we do throughout the year is Talk Story. It's our kind of way of having support group. But Talk Story happens every other month, and individuals living with epilepsy get to come and kind of discuss issues that they've been having or problems that they've been having with other individuals living with epilepsy. And it's a really great way to reconnect and kind of talk about the issues and find ways to overcome those challenges peer-to-peer, kind of. And most recently, we've been trying to have a talk story for caretakers of individuals living with epilepsy.
Oh, that sounds like a really good idea.
Yeah, so, we learned at our Living Well with Epilepsy conference that, being a caretaker can be stressful and exhausting, and you put your needs, last when it comes to taking care of someone who has a condition. And with the talk story for caretakers, we've had it, I think 1 or 2 times, and it's been very well received. And families, parents have been able to kind of feel like, hey, I'm not alone. Other people are going through this, and they can reach out when they're not sure of what to do. They can reach out to the other people that they meet in the Talk Story support group for caretakers as well.
I read a little bit and got to speak a couple of times with Ms. Shimabukuro, Lacey.
Lacey, yes.
Your board president.
She's wonderful. I'm so happy that she's our board president.
Yeah, her story was also compelling, and that her son was diagnosed as a teenager, I believe.
I think he's a little bit younger as an elementary student.
As an elementary student, and then going through that learning curve. Oh my gosh, my child has this condition. What do we do? How do we deal with it? Yeah,
Lacey's great. I hope that she can one day come and talk on your program. But her story is very compelling. And as a mother, and you see your child having a seizure, and you're not sure what to do or how, and you take them in and you find out that they have this condition, it can be a million things going through your head, and all of a sudden everything just goes backwards, and so we're here to offer support, and that's what we're here to do.
Okay, we're going to take another little break and come back and talk some more.
Great.
Aloha, my name is Justina Spiritu, and I'm the co-host of Hawaii Farmers Series. This is my co-host, Matthew Johnson, and you can catch us every Thursday at 4 p.m. at ThinkTechHawaii.com. What do we talk about, Matt?
So on Hawaii Farmers Series, we're going to be bringing on the farmers and also supporter of farmers, including restaurants, caterers, as well as government supporters and nonprofits, to hear their background stories and understanding our local ag community just a little bit better.
Yeah, essentially there's a lot more that goes into farming and the local food community beyond just producing the food, and we want to feature and get the background story on all these folks and see how we all work together as a community. So join us every Thursday. Aloha.
Hello, this is Kaui Lucas. We're back with Hawaii is My Mainland, and today here in proudly wearing purple for Epilepsy Awareness Month with Kathleen Stofocik, who is the executive director, the new executive director of the Epilepsy Foundation of Hawaii. And she was just telling us about some of the programs and how can people get involved with the Epilepsy Foundation of Hawaii?
So, Epilepsy Foundation of Hawaii, we're a small nonprofit organization. We have one paid employee. As the employee, I can't do it all. So I heavily rely on our volunteers and our board of directors. And so when people want to get involved with the Epilepsy Foundation of Hawaii, I welcome it. We have different things that are going on throughout the year, different events like the Sharon's Ride coming up. If you can only volunteer, for part of the year, not full year commitment, we have things that you can assist with. If you want to get involved, you can definitely go to our website, epilepsyhawaii.org. We have volunteer applications there, or just give us a call at 528-3058. You'll talk to us and kind of figure out what would be the best way to have you volunteer, have you get involved. The other way to get involved is to donate to our organization. We rely heavily on donations. And we're a very lean organization. We try to make sure that the money that's coming in goes right back out to assist the families and individuals affected by epilepsy. So your donations are going to go to the 15,000 people that are here in Hawaii that are living with epilepsy, to different programmings that we put on for them, the conference, the services, Talk Stories support group, all those different things is going right back out into the community. So if you want to get involved, I encourage you to go to our website or even follow us on Facebook. We're very active on Facebook, Epilepsy Foundation Hawaii, and we keep it very active. And we're promoting our ThinkTech Hawaii show today, so hopefully people are watching. But yeah, please get involved.
And so tell us a little bit about how you got involved. You haven't been with the Epilepsy Foundation all that long,
No.
but you have an interesting history not just with epilepsy. So I'd love to hear a little bit about that. How did you find the Epilepsy Foundation?
So I have been working in the public health field out here in Hawaii for about 7 years in different capacities. And when, as a member of the Hawaii Public Health Association, I saw the job description and I thought, you know, this might be a really great opportunity. My cousin actually has seizures, and she hasn't had them for a very long time, but I remember when I was younger, about 12 years old, she had a seizure, and we went to, I forget, it was like a meeting, a group to learn about how to help her. I think it was at her doctor's office or something similar, to make sure that when she did have a seizure, we all knew what to do and to support her. And, you know, it kind of made it where once you kind of were aware of it, you weren't afraid of it. And so when it does occur, you're not freaking out, you're not panicking, and you're really there to help the individual. And that was my cousin, and she's now, you know, in her 40s, has 3 children, and, you know, she hasn't let epilepsy take over her life. She's learned to overcome the challenges.
Wow, that's a great story right there.
Yes.
Yeah, so it does not need, it does not need to be a debilitating condition. You can move forward.
Yeah.
And,
But it's great to move forward when you have the support of your family. You know, when everybody is there to support you and make sure that you're being able to move forward.
So since that time, when you were 12 with your cousin, have you been there for other people to have seizures? Have you been able to assist and help people?
Well, you know, I am there to assist, and as at the Epilepsy Foundation, you know, during a talk story or during any of the programs, you know, we want to have our board of directors, you know, our staff, our volunteers, all trained in Seizure First Aid, so that if it does occur, they know exactly what to do. And you know, it's just a great community when, you know, people are having seizures and everybody knows, hey, this person's safe. And when they come to, we can just kind of pick back up. And they like that too, because for many times they just want to, seizures are something they live with every day, and they just kind of want to move on, you know, after it occurs, let me continue doing what I was doing, because they really don't want it to overtake everything else that they do in their life.
So do you have trainings for
Yes, so when it comes to educational presentations, we go out across the state, so all the islands. If you are in a school and want to get trained for your teachers, school nurses, personnel, in case a student has a seizure, we can come out and do trainings. You actually, I think there was a picture earlier of me doing a presentation for a third grade.
Yes, and you were quite
I was
surprised.
Yes. Yes, that was in August, and then I had my baby in September, and now I'm here in November. Yes. Yeah, so we do presentations, and even if it's an organization or company where maybe an employee, you're thinking about hiring someone who has epilepsy, we can come there and do a presentation on Seizure First Aid. So, you know, you can still hire this individual. Epilepsy isn't affecting their work product, but, you know, it'd be great for the staff to know how to take care. Oh, and this is an excellent video that we have about the Epilepsy Foundation.
Yeah, Zuri is quite the goddess. Just let her go and she finds wonderful stuff.
Yes.
So that's a lot.
Yes, and so
for one person. Wow.
And that is why I heavily rely on our volunteers and our board of directors. And like you said, Lacey Shimabukuro, she is amazing. And we also have a lot of different individuals across the state that are doing great work, and their communities and families that are affected by epilepsy doing great work. So we're hoping to grow and expand and continue to move forward. So we really encourage people to come out to Sharon's Ride and sign up, come out and do a walk. And
yeah, that sounds fun, actually. That's not too far from me. I think maybe I'll venture forth on that, one of those smaller, not the...
Yeah, the 1 mile walk is not bad, or a 5K run, that's not too bad. I don't know if you want to jump into the 100K bike ride, but...
No, I won't, but I know some people who really get into that, so it's amazing that there's a tie-in for something like that has all of those. Usually it's not quite that huge span of things, but you really have something for everyone on this
That's
one.
what we want, and we want the keiki involved as well, so everybody.
And speaking of involving keiki, now that you have a keiki.
Yes, I have a 7-week-old daughter, yes.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you, and I'm so glad you invited me. I got dressed up, I put on, did my hair, put on makeup, very exciting to get out of the house and do that.
Well, Lacey had said, you know, she's been on maternity leave for a while. I don't know. I said, that doesn't matter. Have her bring her baby in. So I was kind of looking forward to it. I thought, we'll have our first infant guest.
Hopefully Dad's doing okay with baby right now. Hopefully she's not crying too much. But yeah, no, I would just have her strapped in, and if you come out to the Sharon's Ride, she'll be strapped on me and helping me out on the day of January 31st. She's going to be our biggest volunteer. She doesn't know it yet.
That is such a good, healthy way of promoting holistic motherhood. Yay,
Thank
Kathleen. Your master's in public health is showing in many ways the integrating of family life with other activities, I think, is really, really supportive in the whole idea of community health.
And that's what we're here. The Epilepsy Foundation is supportive of families and individuals, and they're being super supportive of hiring me when I was 6 months pregnant. And so I'm excited to see where we can move and how far we can take the organization. So I really appreciate you having me on and to talk about all of this.
Well, I have to say it's been not only a pleasure to get to meet you. You're the first, it's usually I have some past connection with someone who's here, but this was just show up and be fabulous. Thank you.
No, thank you.
And you're wearing your
Yes.
purple ribbon.
So purple is the color.
Purple is the color.
Mm-hmm.
And for the rest of the month, we're going to be thinking about epilepsy and checking your
Yes.
Facebook page. The Facebook page you said is where you
Epilepsy
get
Foundation Hawaii.
Epilepsy Foundation Hawaii.
And then you can go on our website, epilepsyhawaii.org. You can find out more information about how to sign up for the Sharon's Ride Run Walk. You can find out more information about how to volunteer. You can also find out generic information about epilepsy and Seizure First Aid and how to schedule a presentation if you have a business or school that wants your staff to be trained in that.
Does that cost anything?
No, it does not. It's
Wow.
free. Remember, your donations go right back out into the community.
Wow, that's great.
And our website accepts donations as well, so we would appreciate that as well.
So when you come out and do the presentations, how long is that usually?
It's usually about an hour, and that's with time to have questions and answers. So it's about an hour out of your day to, make everyone safe, and especially if you have an employee or a student or a child that has epilepsy, just showing that you care enough to say, in case anything happens, we know what to do and we're here to support you.
That seems well worth it. Maybe even for communities like church communities and so
Yep.
forth,
I'll be
organizations.
doing one in December at a church.
Okay, very good. Well, Kathleen, thanks so much for coming, and tell Lacey and Jerry that I really appreciate it and sharing your knowledge on this subject, which we don't necessarily take the time to get to know until we need to know.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I'm a much more prepared citizen already, just having
See,
Listen
45
to
minutes.
45
you can,
minutes.
You can know this information.
Okay, well, it's been another beautiful week in Hawaii, and Hawaii is my mainland, and we won't see you next Friday, because next Friday is Thanksgiving, and ThinkTech Hawaii is on Thanksgiving vacation. So we'll see you the following week. My guest will be Julie Rooney, and we'll be talking about an amazing health transformation. So check the blog, kawilukas.com, Hawaii is my mainland, and there will be more information soon. Aloha.